Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to making a fawn girl. Most doll artists will tell you the first thing you should do is seal your doll's face before you start putting on all the pigments, but I've just never done that. I'm usually one to just skip right to the blushing and working with my high pigment pastels and colored pencils. I'm sorry about the funky lighting, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to use the camera on my phone properly, and it's giving me a really hard time. Like, really, you'd think it'd be such a simple thing, but I guess not. I've considered buying a new camera because I have some money saved up. However, I'm hesitant because my phone camera is supposed to be 1080p, so I should be able to work with it properly. Getting back to the face up, I am currently layering up some pigments with colored pencils. As you can see, my black colored pencil really needs to be replaced, so no matter if I buy a camera or just some better lights, I'm definitely going to have to set aside a tiny bit of that money to replenish some of my supplies, including said black pencil. I got a little off track with the dragon doll in the previous video, but I've actually been enjoying recently a slightly more realistic face-up style. I don't know why. I've never been a huge fan of realism, but I just really have been enjoying it recently, especially on fantastical characters. So, in the spirit of enjoying realism, I gave her a tiny iris and tiny pupils as well. I added multiple colors in her eyes and even did some blushing in places that you wouldn't ordinarily put makeup, like under the eyes and around the nose. To sum up the difference very bluntly between doing a stylized face-up and doing a more realistic face-up is that when you're doing a realistic face-up, you have to think about where the colors naturally are in your face, whereas with a stylized face-up, you can think about where you want the makeup to go. For example, there's naturally a darker color right beneath your eyes. You don't think about doing that when you're doing a stylized face-up, because it's not considered ordinarily to be a very appealing trait. However, it is a more realistic trait. Should correct myself though. What is natural is beautiful. It's just a lot of people try to cover up things like that, and when you're painting it on a doll, that can be very scary because it's like you don't want her to look tired or in any way sleep deprived. So I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. After that last clip, I finally sort of fixed the lighting. It's, not reliable. It gets a little darker as the video goes on. I think that's mainly because I must have done something with the light in between clips, but I'm gonna have to learn to deal with that another time. I ended up giving her a gold nose ring and kept the acrylic paint out just long enough to add some gold to her eyeshadow. To make her antlers a little more tree-like, I decided to dry brush them with a light grayish brown before gluing on some fake flowers. It was immediately after I'd finished gluing on those blossoms that I knew I absolutely loved her. I loved every part of her face, hair, and antlers. I was extremely proud. Then came the body modifications. I formed this little cap of clay over her toes before sculpting on the details of the hooves. After the clay had dried, I painted it before gluing on some flocking. I had initially thought about messing with the joints to make them more like digitigrade legs or deer legs, but I decided not to because there's a lot of body modding for this doll and it was really stressful as it was. I didn't want to add to it. And then came the scariest part of this entire custom. I had to cut her arms in half. That's right, you heard me correctly. After thinning out the plastic a little bit, I was able to take some scissors to it and snap them in half. While I had my little knife out, I attempted to remove some of the molded stitches on her arms. I then cut areas for the joints to be and where the wire would sit when her arm bends. If you guys can't tell, I was a little out of my game with filming, so I forgot to film attaching the arms, but anyway, I made a necklace using some embroidery thread and fake sea glass. And after some small touch-ups, she was finally done. What do you guys think? Do you like her? I really love how she turned out. I'm really proud of her face up, and her antlers were really fun to make as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, so be sure to like and subscribe if you did. Follow me on Instagram at DollyDreamsDolls if you want to keep up with more of my art. For early access and exclusive content, check out my Ko-fi page. There will be a link to both my Instagram and Ko-fi page in the description box below to check that out if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!